Hi, Merry Christmas. I am fellow member Tom Gillespie, and I wanted to share a childhood memory about Christmas that might be educational and hopefully encouraging as well. Some of you know that I grew up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Yep, the Christmas city itself. So Christmas time was always a big deal in Bethlehem. Some of you may also know that the town of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, was founded by the Moravians, a Protestant sect that came over from England in the 17th century seeking religious freedoms. Many of the Christmas traditions I grew up with came from the Moravian church and community. My first special memory is that of a Moravian star. I have one outside my house. Let's go see it now. I'm not sure how their shape got started or what it means, but the brightly illuminated multiple points of light is a common feature and reminds me of Christ's love shining out into all the world. The city of Bethlehem is located next to a very large mountain on which they have built a very large lighted star that can be seen year long from a great distance. It used to be lit only during the Christmas season, but now shines year around, which I think is fitting for something that reminds us how Christ emptied himself to live among us and become the Savior of the world. My second special memory is something called a putz, P-U-T-Z. It comes from the German word putzen, which means to decorate or clean. Every year, the Moravian community in Bethlehem would build a putz in the basement of the Central Moravian Church downtown, and people would come from far and wide to experience the putz. Simply put, it is a depiction of the story of Jesus' birth. Many community members will build small, simple putzes in their own homes, but this one in the basement of the Central Moravian Church is enormous, with many little lighted scenes from each part of the Christmas story. Here's a quick screenshot to show you what I mean. Putzes are traditionally covered in patches of moss that members of the Moravian community go out and gather each Christmas season. I can still remember the pungent and sweet smell of the moss as you entered the darkened room before the putz comes to life with narration, music, and lights. Many of you know that I'm also a bit of a techie, and I do enjoy building things. So one year in high school, I decided to build my own putz. My family home had this wonderful open staircase with a landing in the middle, so the edge of each step provided an excellent spot on which to build one of the Christmas story scenes. With cardboard, sandpaper, salt, small figurines, cotton, wire, and other crafty stuff, I built each scene and ran small Christmas tree light bulbs on super thin wire to illuminate each scene. There were angels and wise men, donkeys carrying the young couple, and of course the manger. Instead of narration, I used a musical piece by Neil Diamond entitled Mary's Little Boy Child, which told the full Christmas story with lots of dynamics and Neil's rich voice. Maybe you know that piece. I would sit under the steps in front of a row of little switches, and when the song moved to the next Christmas story scene, I would illuminate it. I would illuminate that scene. It was a hit. My parents embarrassed me by bringing friends over and showing it off. I went on to assemble the putz for several subsequent years, increasing the level of automation of the lighting and of the scenes as my engineering skills progressed. Yeah, I'm a techie. And yes, in the last year before going away to college, I actually ran it on a very early computer. The Moravian Church in Bethlehem has done a virtual putz this year. If you search on Google for the two simple words Moravian putz, you'll find a link to the virtual putz, the one in Bethlehem. It's 16 minutes long, but has lots of great intro pictures and, of course, the full Christmas story told in these little illuminated scenes. I highly recommend it for you and any family member looking to bring more of the meaning of Christmas into their homes. What are some of your favorite Christmas memories? Some hopefully are joyful, some maybe not so much. God's entrance into humankind was truly a miracle, and my prayer for you and your loved ones during this season is that somehow, in some way, that miracle once again touches your life and brings you joy. Merry Christmas.